Today, we've got this brand new 2024 Ford Bronco Big Bend Sasquatch, courtesy of Yark Automotive Group, and today we're going to hop right into it and see what it's all about. So, Ford brought back their beloved Bronco to compete with the JL Wrangler. This is the Big Bend model, so this is far from the top of the line trim, but it's got the Sasquatch package. So what that does is it basically turns this into a factory off-roader because you're sitting on 35-inch tires with 17-inch beaded wheels. You've got 36 degrees of approach angle and 30 degrees of departure angle. And you have front and rear locking differentials and trail turn assist. What that does is it locks one of the brakes on either side of the vehicle depending on where you steer it, and it essentially allows for tighter turning radius on hairpin trails. It's a super neat feature, and Ford is the only one that's actually doing that now, so it's awesome to see that this is a new upcoming feature from Ford. So under the hood there is a 2.3 liter inline-4 turbocharged EcoBoost mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission that puts out 275 horsepower and 315 pound-feet of torque. But if you put 93 octane in this, you will make 300 horsepower and 325 pound-feet of torque. So it's nice to know you get a little power bump when you put higher octane fuel in it. And the fuel tank itself is like the Jeep, it's small, about 16 gallons. Give it some gas. People have said, I've heard rumors that they try to make it sound like an 8-cylinder, and it kind of does. But the turbo boost is punchy and smooth, and obviously you're not going to break any drag records with this, but you have more than enough power at your disposal to get up on the highway with no problems, to get onto the main road with no problems, to get up to speed limit no problems. 275 horsepower is plenty for something like this. It's not as rough as you would expect it with these 35s that sit underneath of it. It's kind of smooth, smoother than you think it would be for a Bronco like this. But then again, these vinyl seats are comfortable, but they ride like a truck. So that's always to be expected. If you buy an off-roader like this, it's not that smooth, but it's definitely smoother than you think it would be. Everything about this is fun, from the gigantic front end with the circular headlights and the classic Bronco grille to the entire body profile. And I love how this is a two-door. They have gotten this design nearly perfect, especially the two doors, because it really harkens back to the original OG Bronco of the late 1960s and takes you back to a time when you had the Bronco, the Jeep, the International Scout. You had all those things just competing against each other, and this one retains closest to the predecessor that came before it some 60 years ago. It's a fantastic design, a handsome look, but it's rugged too, up the front. Apart from those circular headlights to let you know that this is like the OG Bronco, you have tie-down ports on the front of the hood, and you also have these two panels that come off at the top, as well as a removable hardtop, because this is exactly like a Jeep, but I think it's a little bit better. For being the two-door, the turning radius is ridiculous. It actually kind of throws me off a little bit because I'm not used to it. I feel like I'm driving a bigger vehicle, but this is the advantage of the two-door. You also can see that you have two seats behind you that are split, that fold down, and you can fit two people back there and belongings in the back as well. This interior is utilitarian, it's rugged, it's tough, it's built to be beaten. because this material in here can get mud thrown on it, you can get water on it. If you have the top off and it rains, then you also have drain ports down behind the driver's passenger seat, so if it fills with water, then it just drains out. That's a genius feature. The dashboard in here is rugged and utilitarian. I love the use of the buttons. We have this 12-inch display screen running the Ford Sync 4 system, which works quite well. I really like this system, one of the best in the game. We also have a clear gauge cluster with a physical speedometer here with our transfer case to show if we are in four-wheel drive or not, steering angle as well. We also have the trip odometer computer, fuel economy, just a regular calm screen. The shifter itself is utilitarian. We also have our go over any terrain modes, the GOAT modes, are all controlled in the middle. And following behind, we have the mirror control. We also have the power window controls that are express up and down. It's a genius layout in here. I really like the ergonomics of this interior. We get on the highway. Get this Bronco, what it's got. Up to the speed limit, no problem. I was about a quarter on the throttle there. No issues at all. Definitely some wind noise. You got these removable tops, and remember, it rides like an off-roader, so you're gonna have some wind noise. It's not really darting all over the place. It's staying in its lane well. The windshield, of course, will be a bug cemetery, but that's something you kind of have to put up with. But what it lacks in that, it makes up for in literally everything else. Not a lot of noise from the tires. Suspension is stiff. Not a lot of body roll, but you don't really want to overcook it in the corners because, you know, obviously this is a big vehicle, but you have rollover mitigation as well. So there's no risk of rolling over, but definitely if you need to make some emergency maneuvers, then you know you can, and the rollover mitigation system will basically step in and cut power. My final verdict is that this is definitely worth it for the money, about $56,000, because it's basically, as I previously stated, an off-roader directly from the dealership. It's not too much. It's not a Raptor, obviously, so you're not going to pay the extreme prices that those bring. You have vinyl seats, you have a big 12-inch display screen, you've got four-wheel drive system, you have locking differentials, and you have trail turn assist. You've got just such a cool vehicle. You can take the tops off, you can take the doors off, you can fit two of your friends back there, 3 friends in the cab as well. It's just such a fun design. I love how Ford has executed this new Bronco style, and they're kind of trying to turn it into their own division of Ford. But what my final verdict on this, I would buy it and have fun. That's what it's for. Whether it's going off-road on a trail, fording through a swamp, or just looking cool. You know, you want to be cool. Because what's not cool about 35-inch tires and a 2-door off-road machine that's body on frame? Exactly. Can't even answer that question. There's nothing that's not cool about 35-inch tires and body on frame and 2 doors of boxiness and off-roadiness. I love it. I think it's great. It's modern, but it's classic. That's what's so cool about this Bronco. Classic flair with a modern touch. I love it. I absolutely love it. So if you're interested in this vehicle or you want to see more like it, be sure to check us out at yarkauto.com, and be sure to follow our YouTube page as well as our social media pages on Instagram so you don't miss any videos like this one. As always, from Yark Automotive Group, I'm Nicholas Bishop, and we've got just what you're looking for. See you in the next one.